Welcome to Try Performance Shoulder Series Part 3. This is the rings part, okay? Now, you may need to get yourself a pair of these little Olympic rings. These are plastic handled ones. Over in the back, you might be able to see there hanging up. There is some of the wooden ones, which are a bit more of the traditional, like the Olympics. Either one is completely fine. Again, I'll post a link in the email where you can possibly get yourself some of these. Now, these are great, not only for shoulder health, but overall body strength. If you can learn to master yourself on a set of rings, you're going to develop an amazing amount of upper body strength. I mean, have you ever seen a weak gymnast? No. So, look into it, get yourself a set, and use it for strengthening up the shoulders and joints, but also the elbows, core, and everything else. But in this series, it's all about the shoulder, okay? First of all, in part 3, we're going to do just your simple basic hang. This is going to stretch out the shoulder in the joint, allow all those muscles to lengthen, and the tendons just to gain a bit of strength. Obviously, in the first part of, in the last part, sorry, of series 2, we did the stir the pot, where the shoulder was hanging down and gravity doing the work from that angle of the joint. In this one, we're going to do it from the other way. Now, ideally, you'd like the rings probably a little bit higher, but for the purposes of what I've got access to here at the moment, and so that you can keep me in shot nice and clear, they're a little bit lower, just enough that my knees are hanging off the ground so I can actually hang. And then it's pretty much going to be a dead hang, allowing those shoulders to relax, okay? And pulling them out of the joint the other way. Now, attempt to do this for as long as possible. It's something that's quite a great challenge. It's really good for your grip strength, for us to hold onto a hockey stick and develop the strength in our wrist and fingers and all that sort of thing. So if you can learn to hang for multiple minutes, that'll go a long way in helping your game with hanging onto your hockey stick, being able to do all those sorts of skills, make sure no one will be able to take a stick out of your hand, and you'll have really strong wrists, which will help a lot of skill development when we're hanging onto our stick. Next, we're going to go on to a different type of stretch, which is called the butcher's block, but we'll have to just duck down here to one of the boxes, and so we'll head down there right now. So we've come down here for butcher's block, and as you can see, I've got down on the floor on a surface that I can probably kneel beside. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this to lean on. So quite simply, I'm just going to place my elbows on the edge, my hands together as if I'm praying. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back far enough that I can get my head between the box or whatever it is and down, and I'm just going to lean down, putting a little bit of pressure. So obviously aim to hold this for something like 30 seconds, working up towards a minute. If you can end up going for about 2 minutes, that'd be really great, but start by small increments. We're opening up a lot of the shoulder region and the thoracic, and can be quite a good stretch to open us up as hockey players. Now, to take it up a notch further and gain a bit more stretch through the shoulders, as you can see, I've got a stick here that we used in the second part of the shoulder series. What I'm going to do now, before we had our hands together praying, so now I'm going to actually hold the stick, okay, and I'll do it this way, and then I'll show you the other angle of it where you can get a better view. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to slowly open my hands up and make it wider and wider. And this really increases the stretch tenfold. So I start with them together, I go down into the position, come back up, open my hands, go down into the position, I can come back up again, and you can obviously keep going as wide as you can get. Try not to let your elbows flare too wide. You want to keep them by your head. You know, there can be a little bit of a gap there, but as close to your head as possible. That's the butcher's block. Now we'll head back to the rings and get on with the next part. Okay, now that we're back up here with the rings, we're going to go into what's called the Titanic ring stretch, and you'll see where it gets its name very shortly. So we're going to take our rings. They're up around, they can be anywhere from shoulder height to sort of eye level. You can have them a little bit lower as well. That gets all sorts of different areas. And the beauty of them is they're adjustable, so you can hit different parts of the shoulder. So what it's going to do is hands go in them, and you're going to come forward, and it's like we're standing at the front of the ship, Leonardo DiCaprio behind us. And we're stretching out there. So look to hold this for let's start with 30 seconds, and let's see if you can work up to a minute and a half to 2 minutes. What it'll do is it'll open up a lot of the chest area, okay, through the front of the pectoral here, and stretch out a lot of that front delt and all those sort of things. Now, you may potentially get a tingling in the fingers, and that's just that nerve that runs through the arm and into our chest and all that sort of stuff being opened up and stretched. So it's a good idea for us to open that, especially being hockey players, bent over all the time, crouched forward, reaching for our stick. So we want to be able to open that up, give us good posture and nice strong movement to be able to open and swing through. Next up, we're going to go to, it's a little bit more strength-based, strength stretching, with an exercise called skin the cat. Now, these rings, you want to be able to set them up, and whatever they're attached to, I need to have enough room that my feet can go through. Now, this does require a bit of strength and may take some time to build up to, and you can definitely start lower so that when you get around your feet, so when you're lower to the ground and your feet are able to touch, but eventually you want to work to be able to move through the full range and strength through this, allowing all the tendons and muscles to be stretched and strengthened within movement, okay? We don't leave things still. We try to do this in movement. So the exercise goes a little like this. So obviously you want to come around and as far as you can go through. You'll notice that the more you practice this, the further you will get down and down. Your hips will get lower until you're obviously potentially hanging straight, but that will take time. Millimeters is probably the best, is the most you'll progress at a time with this, but I guarantee if you stick with it and keep going, you're going to get some great rotational strength in our arms and shoulders. Now that's great because it creates so much stability, creates so much strength when we turn, rotate and twist and all that sort of thing, and great body awareness for our shoulders in those movement areas. Yet again, I'll demonstrate that just one more time. Don't hit myself on the head on the rings. So we're here, we go up and through, try to take out the swing. Oh, swung a little bit. As you can see, I can touch here, so that's perfectly fine to start with. Here, and I want to pull myself back through. Now you can see that I could touch, hopefully you can see it on the camera, I could touch and that was fine, and then come back, and what you want to develop is you want to be able to go through, keep the feet off the floor so that the whole body weight is hanging on those shoulder joints, and then move back through, exactly like the first one that I demonstrated. All right, good. Now we're going to go into the German hang. Okay, now skin the cat, we moved through, we didn't stay very long in that position, and then we came back. The German hang is we're going to go into that position and we're going to hang for a period of time. Obviously, we're going to build the time up as we go, and the idea is, you don't have to hold it for minutes and minutes and minutes, but if you're looking, you can get somewhere to 30 seconds quite comfortably, and then come back and then repeat that 3 to 4 times. Then you're starting to create good strength endurance through your shoulders. So, to keep this video nice and short, the purpose of it, I'll hang through here, and we'll go for a little bit of time, but not too long, of course. Otherwise, you'll be here all night. So, trying to eliminate the swing, come through. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to hang and hang. My feet are not touching the floor; they're out in front of me, just because I'm quite low here. And then come around. So the bottom of that position is called the German hang. All right. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to head to thread the needle. So we're just going to duck down here on the floor and go through that stretch. Okay. We're going to come down onto the ground here now, and we're going to do what's called thread the needle. So this is a 2-part stretch. It requires some movement and rotation first, and then it requires some time stretching through the shoulder capsule. Now this one's quite good because it also helps the thoracic spine as well as the shoulder and all around the joint there. You may, depending how tight your upper back is as well, your top of your upper back area might limit you here, but hopefully it will open up over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down on all fours like I am currently now. We're going to take one hand, and what we're going to do is thread the needle through the gap here. And I'm going to take the shoulder of the hand that I'm threading down to the ground. So it's here, take it through, obviously bending my opposite arm, and the other side. It's good, getting some nice rotation. What you can do is you can do that 5 times each side. Okay, first of all, getting rotation. If you want to stay and do the 5 on one side and then time stretch, that's perfectly fine as well. It's really all up to you. But go the threading first, so thread the needle, and then we're going to leave the thread in the needle, pretty much. So we go, and I'm going to drop my hips out, and then place my other hand up nice and straight. Now I'm trying to get my shoulders as square as possible, and sort of laying on that arm. It will be a little bit uncomfortable to start with until things start to loosen up. Lay there for 30 seconds, see if you can work your way up to a minute, doing both sides and that as well. Okay, I'll just turn sideways while I do my other arm because I've got to make it even, I can't make it uneven. And I'll show you from the side on view. So get myself in shot here perfectly, and I thread in, feet go out, other hand goes forward, and then I'm laying there. Stretching through the top of the shoulder capsule, some of those littler muscles in the rotator cuff, as well as a bit through the thoracic. Okay, now we're going to head over to the wall, and we're going to finish off with our last stretch for this part of the series. So let's go. Okay, now we're ready for the last section of part 2 of the shoulder series, the wall angels. So, hence, it's got the wall name in it. We've come over by the wall. What we're going to do is we're going to work on rotating our shoulders backwards, externally, because hockey players, we're always internally rotated, holding that stick out in front of our body. Yeah, the shoulders are always placed in a forward position. So now we're trying to open up our posture, give us a big, nice, proud chest, and so we can strengthen everything there and be strong through all our actions. So, here we are at the wall. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my feet probably 30 centimeters away from the wall, and that means I can sit back and try to get a nice flat back on the wall. And the way I need to do that, if I can pull my shirt here, is I need to tuck my hips under to flatten out this lower part of my spine. So I want to have as much of from my backside to my upper back touching the wall as possible. Okay, so I don't want to just have my shoulders and my butt. I want to try to have as much surface area touching as I can get. Now, after that, I'm going to bring the elbows up at 90 degrees and try to get shoulder, elbow, wrist, fingertips, as much surface area of my arm as well, touching in this 90 degree. Now, it's a lot harder than what you think. So, being here in this position, then I'm going to go and do very similar to making snow angels. I'm going to raise up and raise down, still trying to fight and keep as much surface area of my arm, shoulders, back, everything on the wall as possible. We'll just switch the camera around now and we'll show you a different angle to see if you can see how difficult it is. And that concludes part 3 for the Tri Performance Shoulder Series. Don't forget to keep going back and cycling through part 1 and part 2 as it hits the shoulder in all the different angles and ranges that we need.